Hey folks, Leo here once again. Welcome back to another Batman video. Hope you all enjoyed my last one. I've been talking about Batman Beyond. I did TV show collection part 25 for Batman Beyond, which is on my channel. I also gave my thoughts on favorite episodes of Batman Beyond season 1. Now, in this video, I'm giving my thoughts on favorite episodes. Hope you guys can see me. Don't lie, it's not too bright. Sorry. Sorry. It was so great before. But anyway, I'm going to give this video is called My Thoughts on Favorite Episodes of Batman Beyond Season 2. Yes. So far, I'll be honest, it's probably my favorite season. Yeah, there's some episodes that are okay, but I really enjoy the season, I think, the most. Yeah. I do think it's better than the first season, but that's just my opinion. But, great season, so I'll go ahead and give you my quick thoughts on it, though. I just did say it's my favorite, but great season, fun season to watch, still good, still a classic show in my opinion. I wish we had a live action version of Batman Beyond, we need it. And Michael Keaton never comes back as Batman. They should do a Batman Beyond movie. I can see them leading to that, but anyway, go ahead and give you my thoughts on favorite episodes of Batman Beyond Season 2, which I have written down on my paper here. Sorry, and I have it on my phone as well. Alright, for Season 2, okay. Alright, let's get started. So my first favorite episode is called My Favorite Episodes. I'll start with that and the okay ones. So start favorites. Okay, the first one is Splicers. Yes, an episode called Splicers. This is a new body training called splicing, where, kids get these eyelids or whatever, kind of like animals, and their bodies start turning into like animals or whatever. It's combined with human DNA of animals, taking Neo-Gotham fashion first by storm. And the DA wishes to have it outlaw. Terry McGinnis, he finds it suspicious because people are turning into animals. Even two guys are kind of becoming violent. I think he even takes them on in a fight, if I remember. And basically, him and Bruce find it suspicious, but there's not much they can probably do about it. But Terry becoming Batman is finding it suspicious. Him and Dana go to check it out, and he find out that something's up. But DA named Sam, who was of course Commissioner Barbara Gordon's husband, wants to make it a law, whatever, outlaw it, and basically causes aggressive behavior. It is led by Dr. Abel Cover, the creator of the process. Abel pretty much wants to. So you find out that they are giving kids drugs, and basically he wants to create an animal kingdom out of people. Out of teenagers and all that. And basically his crew go after go after Commissioner Barbara Gordon. Batman fights them a bit, but it's hard for him because he finds out what they're up to, because again, with the bat suit, he can turn invisible, which is cool. But one of the animals, she sniffs Batman out. And Batman fights with Abel, and Abel has claws like a tiger and cuts him. And then he gets Batman, injects Batman with his serum, with the splicing drug. And Batman, of course, knows he has to go save Barbara Gordon and her husband. And the animals start attacking until Batman comes in and starts attacking them. And when he himself starts to grab Batman, is almost ready to kill them. There's one guy, he's just punching them to death, almost killing him. Barbara starts like, "No, Batman, stop! You're killing him!" And of course, he flies away. And see him growing fangs and stuff, and pretty much Batman turns into an actual bat. And he comes to the Batcave, fights with Ace a little bit, but Bruce is able to get a cure and shoot it at him. Batman eventually goes, confronts the group, gets ready to go take them out, fights them. He's able to get some of the cures in them, all three of them. And so Abel, who was ready to fight Batman, he starts using the special drug on himself. He uses maybe 20 of them on his body, and he becomes a big monster. You bring the really animal out of me, Batman. Him and Batman fight, and then he has Ace with him, and Ace tries to fight Ace almost gets hurt. Abel, in his monster form, animal form, is about to kill him until Batman shows up and stops him. And Dr. Abel gets arrested at the end. But overall, really good episode in my opinion. Interesting episode. Good villain as well. But good episode. Alright, that was Splicers. Another favorite of mine is called, alright, that was Splicers. It's called Earth Mover. Terry has a friend, I forget her name. I forget this character's name, but this girl who, she lives with her, I guess, stepdad or whatever. They're studying one night, for just doing some homework or whatever, until, they hear the noise outside, and Terry decides to go back to her. Just not as Batman by himself. Terry goes after this, and he found out like it's a big monster, like a big giant dirt monster, and Terry tries to fight with it, but it's big enough to hit him around. He even tries to go confront, Bruce about it, tell him about it. He's like, the sample you gave me was dirt, it's not much, it's just dirt or something. Like, maybe he doesn't believe Terry, or Terry just seeing things. But Terry finds something more suspicious, so as Batman he investigates. This oil out of the ground is like trying to attack this girl, trying to come after her, and Batman's just trying to find out why. Eventually he's able to discover why, but when the man, when the guy finds out, the stepdad finds out, he tries to, get out of there, get out of Dodge, until Batman shows up. He's like, and he thinks it's like his dead friend or whatever, and Batman's like, you better tell her I will, and tells him the story that him and his friend were moving nuclear waste or whatever, and this girl's biological father was one of the workers or whatever, went down there in the dirt to get this, to put this chemical plant down or whatever. Sorry. Oh, my foot. Yeah. And in doing that, he ends up in an accident. The chemicals get on his body, and he becomes part of the ground. He's not actually dead, but he leaves him there, and this makes this biological father makes him angry, and so he kind of does become an earth mover. And at first he attacks the house, brings the house down using his abilities, and the girl, she finds her father. He's like, I'm your father, but he's like kind of a skeleton in a tree almost, just can't move, just has these green creepy eyes, tries to kill the stepdad, but Batman shows up and he gets his giant monsters, ground monsters to come and fight Batman. Batman's eventually able to take him out, and the girl tells her stepdad, you're my real dad at the end, and the Earth Mover guy stopped for good. But that was an interesting and creepy episode in my opinion, but, creepy but good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Alright, next, so that was Earth Movers. Next is Joyride. This is where the Joker gang steal a prototype military vehicle. It's like a plane for the military. The military are using it. The pilots are using it, but they're told by the woman who created it. She tells them to abort, get out of there, and you find out that it's a nuclear weapon in it, and that's going to explode. So she tells for their safety. But the Joker see it, they knock out the pilots, and they steal it. And the leader pretty much, they're having a new guy, because they're going to make him do a gang initiation or whatever. But instead they end up stealing the plane. And they get the other Joker's gang, and he starts having fun blowing things up, and they go to a burger joint, blow it up, throw food out, and one of it hits Terry's foot. So Terry goes up as Batman, tries to chase them down in the Batmobile, which can fly, because this is a future Batmobile, which is really cool. But eventually they able to get away. He runs into this lady that's there that saves him or whatever, and he questions her. She tells him that it's a nuclear weapon. She works for the military. She's a scientist, and that it has to be stopped. And so her and Batman started to work together. Eventually they would stop the Joker gang, but Batman's able to take some of them out. Eventually they would get onto the plane. And he fights the lead Joker gang, the guy who wants it. And Batman's telling him, well, this thing's nuclear, it's about to go off, you see? And he's like, I don't care. I've had so much power in my life before. I want it, I don't care. Until Batman's able to stop him, and Batman is able to shut it down. And the Joker guy doesn't want to fight Batman. Instead, he gets mad and upset. So he goes to the machine, trying to turn the machine, trying to turn the plane on, but it's shut down, it's dead. He's like this, no, and at the end, Batman just walks away. As, of course, he's defeated. But, generally, that was a fun episode. Good episode, in my opinion. Definitely one of my favorites. Another favorite of mine is called Lost Soul. That's the next one, Lost Soul. This is where a billionaire who, died some years ago, he becomes basically like a ghost in the machine. He's like a head, and, he gets his grandson to, basically, this man's name was Robert Vance. He's a billionaire that passed away, basically turns himself into a robot, or gets his brain into a robot, whatever. I'm not a scientist, but how that would work. But he kills his grandson and he needs help to turn the machine on or whatever. He does that, Batman finds it suspicious. But eventually, you find out that Robert Vance wants to actually come back to life. In order to do that, he needs to have a human body to get his brain back into, and that, of course, is his grandson's. But in order to do that, he takes over, Batman's bat suit. He takes over the bat suit, because the bat suit is a piece of technology, because this is the future. So, the Robert Vance robot is able to do the machine, takes over the bat suit, gives Batman almost to, drown himself until, Bruce is able to push the button to stop, pushes the button that turns the suit down, turns the suit off. But somewhat though, and the brain of Robert Vance is still there, even though he takes the suit off, the suit comes to life and is able to get away. So pretty much he has to wear like a mask, like kind of like he wears Nightwing's mask and uses Batman's old utility belt. And so he's got to fight differently. He's got to basically fight a machine that's going to control the bat suit. Before, Robert Vance can kill his grandson, Batman, Terry shows up, but in his different costume that he has to wear, fights him, and of course destroys the Lost Soul, destroys Robert Vance, and he gets destroyed for good. The grandson eventually, sells the company, I guess you can say moves on with his life. But, definitely another creepy episode, in my opinion, of the suit that, of a billionaire trying to take over, being dead and becoming a robot, trying to take over his grandson's body and taking over the bat suit. That was interesting and that was cool. And we do fight as well as he comes close to killing Batman, but he's able to take him out eventually. But great episode, in my opinion. And I do like the whole interesting thing in the episode is that Terry asks the question, does Batman really make the suit, or is it really the man that makes the suit? So, even without the suit, he's still Batman. Even Bruce was as well. Even without the suit, he's still Batman. They just use their identities as cover, basically, as a mask, basically. Batman, Terry, just like Bruce himself, Terry in his heart is really Batman. That's what I'm trying to say. If you kind of get the point of the episode. Another favorite of mine is called Hidden Agenda. You have these Joker's gang, actually, named Max Gibson, who is a Joker, and he's actually voiced by, well, not Max Gibson, but forget the kid's name, but he's voiced by Michael Rosenbaum, who this episode was made, I think, 1990. Yeah, this was a few sometime years before he would go on to be Lex Luthor in Smallville. So he's worked with DC before. He also voiced the Flash, and I think in Justice League and an episode of Superman Animated too. So I think he voiced the Flash, I believe, for this DC animated universe, and did other voices, for Batman being Return of the Joker. He voiced the character in that movie, voiced one of the henchmen, Joker's henchmen in that. He also does another voice in this season as well, as another henchman for Shriek. But anyway, this kid played by Michael Rosenbaum, voiced by Michael Rosenbaum. He gets, Max, she's like the smart woman. She's this girl, new character in this show, who is just an episode because this character, Max, finds out that Terry, of course, is Batman and becomes a bit of a new ally to him. But anyway, she is making good grades or whatever, gets 24,000. I guess in the future grades are different, but she gets high grades in this guy, and he wants to get revenge, so he starts harassing her, stalking her, and of course, Terry has to always save her as Batman. This guy even tries, the Joker, him and the Joker's gang try to, kill, off a elevator, try to kill a guy or whatever, who Batman has to save. But it is complicated because, Max is also learning the identity of Batman, about how tall and high he is, and definitely knows that Batman is a guy, is a teenager, and he goes to school. She just doesn't know it's carried by them, but, Batman is eventually able to stop the Joker's gang at the end. They find out, because the guy ends up in water, so they find out it's the high schooler who was a jockey, ends up going to jail. And she's like, Terry, does the bad ears, like knowing he's Batman. She's like, don't worry, I won't tell her. I'll keep your secret. But at least you have somebody to talk to about your issues. You can really be yourself around me. Because Dana comes in saying, Terry, where you been out? But Max helps out with an excuse. Saying, oh, Terry, it's okay, Dana. Terry had to help me out with some homework or whatever. So, a woman that, she'll protect his secret and be a good ally to him. But overall, really good episode in my opinion. Great episode. Another favorite of mine is called Bloodsport. This is where you get a villain called the Stalker, who is a southern jelly and he's a big game hunter who comes to Gotham seeking out what he believes is the only predator, and that is, of course, Batman. So at first, he doesn't even pay the bellboy. He ends up in a hotel. Tries to attack Batman. Him and Batman have fights because he's trying to kill Batman. Basically, you find out that he was attacked by a Black Panther or something like that. And eventually he gets these animal senses or whatever. And with his ability, he gets revenge on the animal and starts, hunting. So he comes to Gotham City just to hunt and kill Batman. He has like this green eye, which he's able to track Batman. Because being a stalker, he's a very good tracker. He tracks, I guess funny at that, he finds out that Batman, of course, is Terry McGinnis. He's able to track him no matter what he's wearing. And in doing so, he kidnaps Terry's brother, Matt. And he tells Matt his story. Batman and Stalker fight. And Batman's eventually able to take out the Stalker at the end, and saves Matt. And at the end, though, you have him kidding around with each other, which is, good brother moment, between the two. Even though, Terry, his brother, gives him his number, he still loves his little brother, But overall, really good episode, in my opinion. Great episode. Another favorite of mine is called Once Burned. This is where, the beginning of a program, and 10, who of course was, Melanie, the girl that Terry fell in love with, she robs these gangsters who, play poker a lot. She robs them of their money, so they want to kill her. Batman asks, why are you doing this? No, why are you stealing? She tells him that these people, that she's stealing money for somebody who kidnapped her family, and and her family's been kidnapped, by so-so or whatever, and needs to help her. Eventually, Melina comes to Terry herself, saying she's sorry for what she did. They talk a bit of the night until she has to, get out of there because Terry's, mom and brother show up. And Batman and Santa have to work together. Eventually they're able to get the money until, they eventually go to the Royal Flush Gang themselves, and they revealed the 10 that, that they were never kidnapped, that they were just testing her loyalty, so there was no kidnapping, that they were testing her loyalty. She is still a criminal, she's still loyal to the family. Of course, it'd probably kill her, but, of course, the Royal Flush Gang, Batman tips the people off that the gangsters they robbed come to fight them. Eventually, during this big fight, Batman's able to take everybody out. Eventually, the gang wants to fight, but eventually the cops show up, and, it's up to you, King. That's what Batman says to the King, and the Royal Flush Gang just give up, and their voice, the King and Queen, though, they're voiced by George Lazenby, and I believe Sarah Douglas, George Lazenby, for playing James Bond one time, I'm actually Secret Service. Sarah Douglas, she's been decent before, I think it's the same Sarah Douglas, who voices the Queen of the Royal Flush Gang. She, of course, was Ursa in Superman 2, and Superman 2 was Daughter Cut, so people should know from this. She's worked with DC before, but, even though, and at the end they ended up in jail, and Terry, of course, ends up heartbroken again. But it's like his relationship with Tim is like Batman's relationship was with Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, complicated because of how different they are. But anyway, great episode in my opinion. Let's burn. Another favorite of mine is an episode called Hooked Up. Several high school students end up in comas and hospitals. You find out that there's one teenager in his mind, he's like a rock star, but he's living in fantasy. You find out that it's actually Spellbinder, who is getting these teenagers addicted to his virtual reality. It's like a big giant ring ball they're in. Max wants to help out, but Terry's like, no. But eventually they need some new recruits. He basically, Spellbinder, after getting them out, tells them to go steal some money from them, then they'll put them back in. But these kids it's like a drug. They're so desperate to get into this virtual reality to escape the fantasy that they live in the world they live in is not very pleasant to them. So, like the drug addict, they want to, do whatever it takes to even, the kid's asking for money, the one who wants to be like a rock star in this world. He's asking for money. This guy says no, get a job, and the kid attacks him. Batman tries to stop him, but he's able to get away. Almost nearly kills him, so Batman has to save him. Eventually, Max gets convinced by these guys, so Spellbinder's teenagers who are helping him, and in this first they get Max to recruit her, and she's living this fantasy of her family appreciating her or whatever. Batman's able to sneak in there, but Spellbinder's able to get Batman and touch his brain and put him through a fantasy as well. But eventually, Max is able to get out. She helps him take down Spellbinder, which was cool. And at the end, they defeat him. Spellbinder is going to jail, but Spellbinder, great villain in my opinion. And definitely one of my favorites. Very good episode, in my opinion. Then another favorite of mine is called Rats. In this episode, Terry's girlfriend Dana feels like she's been let down by Terry, or being ignored by him, but because he's Batman so much, and pretty much doing a job for Bruce Wayne, well, of course, being Batman is full time, so he doesn't get to spend a lot of time with Dana. She's just kind of gotten sick of it, and she has somebody a secret admirer, who sends her flowers saying, I forget what it's saying, I'll always be there for you, with a flower or whatever. And basically it's a guy who's given to her, but this guy, this isn't a normal guy. He's, I would say is a freak. He's a rat, basically, rat boy. And he kidnaps Dana, but has his, rat pet rats do it. Dana thinks that, Terry gave her the flower, and she's got, this white dress on, ready to go, but she ends up getting kidnapped by these rats. And, the rat boy says, Dana, I appreciate you. You're so alone like I am, and people make fun of me. Terry, but Dana realizes that she wants to get out of there. She doesn't want to stay there, of course. She's basically been kidnapped. So she gets a flashlight or whatever, tries to get around the sewers, and so she's running into Rat Boy himself. After Batman has a fight with Rat Boy and his giant rats who steal some food, Batman's able to eventually track her down. And she tells him, you can't, she tells Rat Boy, look, I don't want to be here at all. You can't be kidnapping people. And he gets mad, thinking, you're making fun of me too, and then says, really hold a hostage. Maybe try to hurt her, but Batman eventually shows up. Rat Boy tries to get all his rats to attack Batman. Batman's able to fight him off. An accident happens, a fire starts. Batman, Terry, of course, as Batman, is able to, fly around over there by using the rocket boots to fly out. Even her father thinks she's something about, but after Batman, of course, saves her from Rat Boy, he ends up, and of course the relationship, through time, gets better again. And Dana, I think, wants to be a little more patient with Terry, but overall, good episode in my opinion. Alright. Another favorite of mine is called Babel, basically. This is where Shriek, who is seeking vengeance against Batman, has a guy that works with him now, voiced by Rosamund Ollie. And basically he starts messing with sound, like vibrations in Gotham, because, it's because Ace attacks Terry, first he attacks Bruce, and all animals are acting up. They're able to find out it's sound vibrations, and that Shriek has something to do with it. Shriek wants revenge on Batman because Batman made him go deaf. So, Shriek starts doing other things like making people talk in Egyptian. They're talking in blah blah blah, making sense or whatever. Shriek eventually is able to call the news station, telling he wants Batman himself, by himself, to come meet him face to face, so he can get revenge on the city for ransom, by terrorizing them with sound vibrations, and the city thinks Batman's turned himself in, and that he'll threaten to, maybe hurt all the people in the city. Barbara wants to talk to Bruce about giving him up, and he's like, wait a minute, he's still out for this city, but Barbara's like, well, Bruce, we have to think, is it really worth the lives, And of course it puts Barbara in a position because she's the commissioner and her job is to protect the citizens of Gotham City. But eventually Batman does agree to it. It turns out that definitely is able to take Shriek on in the fight. But eventually he's able to take Shriek on in the end and defeat him. Overall, good episode in my opinion. Oh yeah, but with Shriek, like I say, he's deaf. He has to wear headphones just to make sure he can hear, basically. But Babel, really good episode in my opinion. Another favorite of mine, and this was a funny episode, it's called Terry's friend dates a robot. It's where a character who's a nerd, a hopeless nerd named Howard Groot. Oh, he's a big fat kid. He's like, hey people, come to my party. I'm cool. Of course, Terry and Dana are nice, and Max decide to go to his party. And he's thinking he's the cool guy in the room, which I thought was funny. Terry has to go pick up a part for Bruce Wayne at this, robotic shop or whatever, and Howard looks at this and starts to create himself an android girlfriend, basically. Tells her who he wants her to be, bribes this guy who's making humans into robots, which is illegal, what he's doing. And this robot, she's a beautiful girl, beautiful robot, named Cynthia, but she's programmed to be completely devoted to Howard, but becomes dangerously possessive. And, anybody who threatens Howard, like Nelson, who's the bully, tries to threaten him. And Cynthia pushes these lockers on him because she's really strong. And then Chelsea tries to, Terry's friend named Chelsea, tries to, hit on Howard or whatever, and this makes Cynthia mad. She tries to hit her with a rock until Terry stops her, like, well, what are you doing? He's like, oh, nothing. And finds it suspicious. He investigates, and as Batman, he used to confront this guy who creates himself, as an android, to clone version of himself, until Batman's able to take him out and question him about it. Howard has this party. Cynthia gets aggressive. She pushes another girl down to her, pushes Chelsea or whatever, and pushes Max. And Howard's like, "Come here." Howard's like, "Come here, Cynthia. You're acting too violent." So we're gonna break up, and Cynthia just loses it, attacks him, and Batman shows up, where she starts attacking people at the party. Max fights with Cynthia, but she's too strong, gonna hurt somebody. Howard runs to Batman like scaredy cat. He tells Cynthia, we could be friends, and she's like, friends, and goes off and pretty much destroys herself. And at the end, though, Howard gets in trouble by his parents, and Terry, becomes Terry himself, gets up his batsuit, and they say, okay, Nelson, we're not, Howard, we're not doing that. Good luck. Don't look at parents. He's getting yelling at his parents, probably grounded for life for the house blowing up. Just Cynthia blew up the house. But overall, funny episode in my opinion. Good episode. Yeah. And then another favorite of mine is called Eyewitness. This is where I think at first, Batman is trying to help Barbara Gordon they're on a sting. Batman shows up and, eventually blows the sting and she yells at Batman saying, we've got all this operation for years, you ruined this, and Batman's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. He's like, sorry, doesn't cut, Barbara says. Eventually you have this character named Mad Stan who Batman confronts, I think it was the Lost Soul episode, as a guy who wants to, blow stuff up. And, Batman takes him out in that episode, and his episode confronts him again, because Master's trying to blow stuff up. And Barbara witnesses him fighting, and basically she sees Batman killing Mad Stan, and she says, and you really think that Terry really did go lose it and kill this guy? And, Barbara seeing this in her eyes, and, witnesses it, and basically decides to go after Batman to arrest him and to protect him, especially since he murdered somebody. And Terry's like, no, I knocked him out, but I did not kill him. I swear he was alive when I saw him. Honest. But Batman ends up on the run, and Bruce finds it suspicious. He goes to the security camera that some of it was deleted, so he's in the back computer, he's able to despawn it, and then he sees that it's Spellbinder is the culprit, who was able to use his mind control on Barbara, or fantasy ball on her, or whatever, and making her see this. And they go after Batman, trying to stop him, until Batman, using the red vision, was able to the red vision from his eyes in the suit. He's able to see Spellbinder, knock him out, and they arrest Spellbinder. She apologizes to Batman for it, for not believing him, and that's that. But overall, great episode in my opinion. And it does make you almost believe that, did he kill somebody? Of course he didn't. Because Batman would really never break it through. He kill any comics, but this is a different Batman. So, But overall, great episode in my opinion. Another favorite of mine is called Final Cut. This is where Bruce is out of town. And this is where Kare, the sword woman who tried to kill, Barbara Gordon's husband, the DA, Sam, she's back to pretty much get revenge, hunt down the last of her former society, killing them one by one. She's got these pills or whatever, which can poison you or whatever. She kills one of the last guys, one of the leader assassin, the last one who was in charge of it. He's voiced by Tim Curry. Asks Batman for help. Batman denies it. He's like, it's not my problem. She comes up to me, Batman, and then she'll come and kill you. Even though Batman's like, okay, I can wait. But he tells Batman, wait. He tells Batman he's got leverage, that he put a bomb in the city, and that it'll explode in these hours. If you don't help me stop her, then all of Gotham explodes somewhat. And he's willing to even risk his own life to do that, Not just millions of lives, but his own, of course, and Batman's and everybody else's. So Batman is, of course, forced to team up with, Tim Curry's character. Eventually, they come with Curry. Yeah. But eventually, Curry's able to, kill her. One of the guy's still alive, but he goes to the hospital. But he does die. He goes a little bit of the sword, died by the sword that time. Batman realizes he doesn't know where the guy's got the trigger, but he needs to find it out, so Max has to help him. Batman fights Curry. And eventually, it's a tense situation. She's trying to stop the bomb. Until, Max just pulls it out. And Curry gets arrested at the end. Max does get involved here because she tries to go in a hotel. Curry tries to attack her, but she lets it to Curry to go. Batman shows up posers like Terry, and he's like, and one more thing, don't call me Terry. Based on her to call him Batman, don't call him by his real name, because of course it's a boy's secret identity. But overall, Final Cut, great episode in my opinion. Good to see Curry back, cool character, and it's cool to see character voiced by the great actor Tim Curry. So, yeah. Great episode. Alright, another favorite of mine is called The Last Resort. This is, basically, this episode is about a new program for troubled kids called The Ranch. And it's led by a guy, a character voiced by John Ritter, the late John Ritter, from Three's Company and A Simple Rules. Those TV shows and some movies he did, of course, but yeah. But it's claiming to help kids because some of the teenagers do all stuff they're not supposed to do, so the parents send them there, and this girl named Chelsea gets sent there. But you find out it's not everything it seems, as one of the kids there is a criminal that Terry knew back sometime in the day. His name is Sean, and he became, of course, became a criminal, and he's there to get help as well. How trouble he is, and you realize that teenagers, they get tortured, they're treated like prisoners of war. They don't even get sleep. One kid even has to go to the bathroom. They have a thing called the ICU, which is like a torture chamber or whatever. And one teenager has to go to the bathroom until he's like, you need to listen to this. And for since the ICU as punishment for asking to go to the bathroom. Terry's able to investigate, as Batman, talks to Chelsea's able to record it. He's like, Terry, please help me. He's like, I'll help you, everything will be okay. He tries to sneak in, eventually gets caught, and here he goes, and because he was snooping around the area, so they, keep him whole hostage. Nobody's complete for him. Then we'll kill him, as the leader, John Ritter character says, we'll kill him and get us off, because somebody probably sent him. let's just say Terry bit off more than he can chew. But anyway, as Terry goes there, him and Sean come up with a breakout plan. Sean goes his own way, but Terry goes to his bag and gets his Batman, gets his bat suit, and fights the criminals, and is able to take them down. And Sean has got John Ritter's character is like this. I'm tired of this crap. This guy did so much wrong to me. He's like, no, the police are right, and Sean almost goes to him. Batman saves him. And of course, Sean ends up going back to jail. And so your John Ritter character. Still facing tires, work and everything. But basically, dark episode, pretty disturbing about treating young kids and teenagers, basically torturing them. But pretty dark. But great episode, in my opinion. Then another favorite of mine is called Armory. This is where one of Terry's good friends at school, his dad, of course, is a weapons designer. He ends up losing his job because airplane powers. He gets fired. He tries to get a job for a couple of months, but loses his job more and more. He can't get a job because no one wants to really hire him. And so the guy offers him a job, for basically to commit crimes. So at a desperate attempt for his, stepson, his new wife, he becomes a supervillain called Armory. And at first Batman, he's a good villain for Batman to fight because he's not only a big guy, but he knows, being a weapons expert, specialist designer, whatever, he knows how to use them. And basically he shoots his weapon at Batman, which can give Batman a shot. Batman tries to stop him, but of course fails at first and goes up against the guy another night, takes Batman out. Until the guy that hires him tells him, we need to kill Batman, get him out of the way. Even Terry stepson overhears him being Armory. And he's like, I'm sorry son, but I did it for you. And the wife was like, well, it was still wrong for what you did, it's still no excuse. You committed these crimes. Eventually Batman shows up, the guy sees him, that, the Armory guy is working for him, but he doesn't want to kill anybody, realizes what he did is wrong, and as this guy's trying to use his weapon to kill Batman, eventually the guy helps Batman out, saves Batman's life. The episode at the end, of course, the guy ends up in jail. We'll probably get some bit of something for trying to help Batman, but of course he'll go to jail for what he did. Gone for a while. But overall, great episode in my opinion. It's a good message episode where, despite, sometimes even if you don't have a job, you have to get a job, that's still no excuse to commit crimes and become a criminal. Still no excuse for it. But anyway, great episode in my opinion. Alright, another favorite of mine is called Sneak Peek, where a gossip reporter I forget his name, but he's like on Sneak Peek, which he acquired this technology to become incorporeal. Basically, he can disappear, kind of like a ghost, being in and out in places. He's like a peeping Tom, but you find out that he, got this idea of passive powers and tells these personal stories about people's secrets. Basically, explores their secrets and shows the whole world from on TV. Basically, to embarrass you or humiliate you, just for his, money or get his media sensation or whatever, his media attention. Eventually Batman tries to get in his way. He tries to get destroyed. Batman can't really even hit this guy because his molecules in his body just move so fast like this that he can't touch him. Eventually he's able to sneak into the Batmobile and sees Terry talking to Bruce and taking off his mask and finding out that Bruce Wayne was the original Batman. That means Terry McGinnis. Bruce finds out that Terry is the new Batman. Terry goes to him, begging him not to do it, but eventually the guy starts to, using this technology, much affects his body, where it starts, you see his stomach going off, disappearing, and that can really affect him. He wants to ask Bruce for help, that Bruce is pretty much was Batman and can help him, But he says, I promise to give you the gist that, because he wants to prove Batman's identity. So first, Terry he's like, oh no, thinking that his mom and brother are going to find out he's Batman, so he has to go ahead and tell, he's like, Mom, Matt, I'm Batman, and they just laugh at him, because they think he's just kidding, but he actually is, they just don't know it, that's the joke. But, eventually, when Bruce goes to the reporter telling him, asking him for help, and he says no, and even when Bruce refuses, he attacks Bruce till Batman shows up, Terry shows up, fights him off. He's almost close to killing a gun and shooting them, but since this is easy reclining, he starts to fall through the floor repeatedly. Batman tries to help save him, but eventually the guy ends up in the ground for good, falls to the center of the earth, which I know so long will be the perfect rest of his life. But overall, good episode, interesting in my opinion, the sneak peek. Good episode in my opinion. I'm sorry if I'm sleepy, guys. And this was a funny episode called The Egg Baby. Yeah, I think it's a cute episode. Some people always ridiculous, but hey, I like it. Sue me. This is where Terry, has to take a computer and a simulated baby, which he takes family or something, a family class or whatever. I forget what it's freaking called, but as Batman, it's called Family Studies. Basically studying how to be family or being a grown-up. And then he just plays. Who doesn't want to watch this baby? She's just lazy. Other mothers like Nelson, who does good, or Howard, teaming up with Dana. And what's funny about it is that, Blade doesn't want it, and you have this family of jewel thieves, who reminds me of Ma, one's name's Ma, whatever, Ma Parker, but Ma something else. And she and her boys, they just rob this jewelry, but it's just red jewelry from her husband that she wants, so she makes her boys help her do it. They're without Batman and get Batman off them eventually. Batman, the baby makes noises or cries, and Batman tries to say shh, and it distracts them, and Batman ends up accidentally putting the baby into their vehicle, which is kind of like an invisible vehicle, which he does not know. They go, they see the baby, it's like, what is it? It's like a baby. And Ma's like, let me see the baby. Okay, this baby won't shut up. Get rid of it. Since it's just an egg baby. Batman eventually is able to save the baby. This is the baby, which I thought was funny. And the baby laughing, which is adorable. It's the crying. But Terry, even though having the baby, this computer similar to baby, is able to stop the Ma and her two boys and having them arrested. And she tries to jump off for the jewelry, but Batman has to. She's basically really overweight. Has to use all the strength to use the bat rope to save her from killing herself nearly, and they end up going to jail at the end. And Terry, who has been failing in family studies, eventually does well with the simulated baby. He's like, you'll be a good father, and everybody just kind of laughs at him. He's like, huh? And the episode it's a ridiculous episode, but it's fun. Fun to watch. And the simulated baby's cute, so there's no place for that. Alright, another favorite of mine is called Zeta. This is where you find out this android who is, of course, pretending to be a teacher. Eventually this android gets attacked. You see Terry and Max see this android. They think the android is dangerous. The android kidnaps Max, and of course, well, this is a spin-off series called the Zeta Project, but I guess this is where we first see this character, Zeta. Zeta is a robot that you find out, even though he kidnaps Max, he can disguise himself as anybody, disguise himself as Max. She's like, tell me about you, really who you are. He's like, he's like, but I don't want to be violent no more. They wanted me to be violent. And she's telling her that, he wanted a life of his own, be free. Tells Max that, and Max is like, well, then get rid of the guns, And he does. Batman shows up. The other Terry shows, Max shows tell Terry, Batman, it's okay. that he's not a threat. Instead, Batman and him fight a little bit. Till the government agent shows up. One of them, I know, was an NCIS. One of the voice actors was. But the lead guy, he's kind of like Agent Smith almost from The Matrix. But, which I've never really seen that movie that much, but I've seen some of The Matrix. But anyway. The Matrix. Eventually, they chase down Zeta more. Zeta tries to get into a new body, but they ever track him down. Batman helps him out. Zeta fights with this guy, and is also about to kill him. Batman has to get his batarangs, like, come on Zeta, don't do it. Zeta says not to do it. Until the guy pulls a gun, Batman's eventually able to stop him. He thinks Zeta gets destroyed, but Zeta eventually is able to get away from the blast and sees Batman and, winks at him as he goes to live his life now and that he's free, and him thinking he's dead. But overall, great episode in my opinion, interesting. Yeah, but Zeta, really good in my opinion, very enjoyable episode. Then another favorite of mine is called Plague, where Batman, of course, has to readily team up whether from a foe or him who tried to kill him, hunt him down, and that is the Stalker, who now suddenly comes from Hawaii. You find out that a criminal named Frostface, who was still on dangerous virus for a criminal organization called Cobra, planning to use the virus in Gotham City, and Frostface's help, and then he's able to use his face in disguises. And you find that his face is just really badly torn up. You think him and Stalker are going to fight for Stalker and him team up. Batman tells Stalker to be patient, but Stalker does not be patient. And says he was in front of Batman's like, no, we can't question them. That's why you have to be patient. To Stalker, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Stalker gets knocked out by Frostface, so he's like, go catch him, Batman. Batman goes chase, Frostface, whose face starts messing up really bad, becomes really disfigured. He fights with Batman. Batman gets shot. He's about to kill Batman. He's like, your face is going to be more better than mine. Until, Stalker shows up and takes him down. And he tells Batman, if you're going to die, if you're going to be killed, it'll be by my hands. Batman's like, I appreciate the gesture, or something like that. An episode ends there. But it's definitely a good episode. Like, I like the whole thing of it is like, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. But overall, really good episode. Good to see the Stalker again. But great episode in my opinion. Alright. Just a couple more, y'all. We're in about 15 minutes in. Okay. Alright. Oh, by the way, these are 26 episodes. Another favorite of mine is called April Moon, where a bionic designer who gives this kid named Harold, or calls himself Bullwhip, gives a gang of street these punks, he gives them robotic implants in their bodies. Guy can Bullwhip, it's like a bullet that comes out of his arm. One can turn like into a big machine, kind of like a robotic version of the thing. One has like chainsaws in his legs and his arms. But you basically, and they go to the scientist, tells them I can't do this anymore. Like, Doc, don't worry about it, just mind your business. Because, one of the guys gets messed up, so he still repair him. Batman tries to investigate, tries to talk to the doctor, the scientist, but the guy is able to knock Batman out, shoots him with the dart to knock him out, and able to move away. Batman's able to track him down. He's like, oh my god, she's dead now, she's dead, Batman. And Batman's like, well, what? And he tells him that, this doctor tells him that, it was a girl named April Moon, who he fell in love with, because he's got a picture of her, she's like under the stars and basically under the moon, that he fell in love with this woman, asked her to marry him. He falls in love and basically finds out that she's been kidnapped. And he tells Batman there's a designer code, but he's not going to tell him because he's afraid that he'll put April's life in danger. But Batman, being a detective, of course, just has become, he's able to find out, that it's April Moon as the code to shut them down. And they're, sneaking up to get them. And the designer is there because, like, I'm here because I don't want April to get hurt. But, so spoilers, you find out that April, of course, is really the girlfriend of Bullwhip, so she's working with these guys. So they basically tricked him, and he sees her kissing, and the scientist is like, no, and gets upset. We'll keep him quiet, just hide him where they can see him, and he's just heartbroken. Batman fights these guys though, shuts them down. Bullwhip gets away, and April gets away too. Batman and Bruce wonder what's happened to him, but eventually, Bullwhip does not know that the scientist saw him kissing April, and that, they played him the whole time, so he tries to get revenge, and he figures at the end that he's going to torture the guy, maybe kill him at the end. But overall, great episode, and you feel really sorry for the doctor, for the body designer character, just the guy that fell in love with the wrong woman and was tricked and heartbroken, and maybe you can see, why he was tricked. You just feel sorry for that. I felt sorry for the character mostly. But it's cool to see these criminals, get these bionic weapons, robotic implants in them, and Batman has to take on. And, that was cool. But overall, good and somewhat sort of a sad episode as well, in my opinion. Alright, another favorite of mine is called Payback. Where you have a character, an vigilante called himself Payback. At the first, he begins to take revenge on tormentors of troubled teenagers who get tortured by adults. So he goes out there, he's got kind of a lightsaber that's like a shark with lights or whatever, a shark and a lightsaber. Tries to attack, Batman fights with him. He's like, Batman, we could work together. Batman's like, attacking parents, attacking innocent people? No. Being a vigilante? No. And Batman and Bruce try to find out who he is. You find out that Payback might be a person, a doctor, so Terry goes undercover, and this, it's a therapy group, so Terry goes undercover, even really gives his problems that he has with Mr. Rain, then he has issues that he has with Bruce, the way Bruce treats him, but he thinks that it might be the doctor or the scientist, or this guy there, but they find out that he's not Payback. Batman, after fighting this guy, is like, sorry. Just take on Payback, fights him around the trees. Payback causes a fire, almost causes a wildfire, so Batman is able to use the Batarang, not the Batarang, but the Batmobile to shut down the fire. And, Terry talks about his triple life, how it's going, until Payback eventually, Bruce is going to go to Freeland, who's been friends with, Veronica Freeland, who's been friends with a long time. Bruce is just going to go to the party for the night, goes in the elevator. Payback's just in the elevator. Like, everybody else, I just want him. I know your dark secret, Bruce Wayne. Like, you don't know anything about my dark secret, Bruce smiles. Kind of like in the smartest way. But he tries to attack Bruce, tries to kill him, until Batman shows up to save him. Batman fights Payback, eventually we take Payback down, and you find out that it proves to be actually the the psychiatrist's son ends up being him. He figured he'd help in the kid's mind, he's a 10-year-old kid, basically, his Payback. Figured, his dad didn't spend enough time with him, so angry enough, he decides to help the troubled teens by, help fix his problems. Well, in his mind, he probably figured, if I could be a vigilante and help fix their problems, my dad would spend more time with me. But that's how a 10-year-old kid would think. Not really think, because they're very insecure. But great episode in my opinion. Not knowing better, basically. Kids don't know better. But overall, Payback, good episode in my opinion. Alright, another favorite of mine. It's called Where's Terry? Terry ends up, in the beginning of this episode, ends up in the train, Gotham subway station, finds this guy who's suspicious. It's Ollie, who's actually working for Street. Batman ends up knocked out. Terry's mom and Matt don't know where he's at because his bed is fixed, so she's suspicious. Dana, wonders where he's at. Max does too. Bruce becomes suspicious as well. Goes to Max. Max, he's like, Max tells Bruce, I'm gonna help you. He's like, go home. Because of course she knows Bruce knows that she knows that he's Batman. She wants to get involved, but Batman's like, Bruce like, over my dead body. Which I thought was funny. They find that these cyberpunks have Terry's backpack, and Bruce tries to bribe him for it, but they attack him, saying why he wants it. So Max shows up, and Bruce is able to take them on. And I like the bit when he was with Batman when he was interrogating somebody, and he's like, I need to room a moment along with this guy, and he interrogates the guy, which is so cool, because that reminds me of his Batman days when he would interrogate a bad guy by, scaring them, which he was good at doing. But Terry ends up, in his bat suit, of course, ends up trapped with this kid who doesn't like Batman, wants to be like his villains, like Blade or Spellbinder. Because those guys do whatever they want. Like Batman's like, well, look how they ended up. Batman's trying to find, they get trapped in the wall, and the debris rocks. Batman's trying to find a way out, so that he helps the kid. Eventually, Shriek comes, tries to, kill Batman eventually. Even Bruce Wayne fights Shriek a little bit, which is cool. But Batman shows up and is able to get out there and, stop Shriek. And the kid almost, does so he's dead, but Batman saves him. And the kid is inspired by Batman's words. So he'll not be this way, and he has to go back home. Basically, he's not an orphan, he just ran away from home, or run away. Until, Terry convinces him, Batman convinces him to go back home. But overall, great episode in my opinion. And it was cool to see Bruce and Max team up as well. I know it would never quite happen, but I wish she would have became Batgirl or something like that. That would have been cool. If we had a new Batman, why not a new Batgirl? That would have been cool. See if Terry have a sidekick. Maybe if we got a season 4, but overall, where's Terry? Good episode in my opinion. Alright, and this is the last episode of season 2. I'm not done yet. It's called Ace in the Hole. This is where Ace goes missing. He sees a man that he knew from his past, so Ace, starts growling and running after the guy. He bites the guy even. He goes missing. He tries to look for him, but Bruce tells him that he doesn't worry, that Ace is a survivor. Ace is almost getting kidnapped by the dog catcher, who he's able to get away from. But he gets caught by the dog catcher, who sends him to this guy who wants to kill, eventually either get revenge on Ace by making him find another dog or basically kill him. And, Batman's able to track him down, and, he fights this giant dog he's been mutating and putting drugs in these dogs to make them bigger. This one dog is like a giant, and Batman has to take him on. He tries to get out of there, but the dog's able to grab him every time, beats him to death, almost kills him, till, Ace comes out to help him, and Batman figures out a way to defeat him by giving the dog a new shock. No, I'm just kidding. Shock therapy. But anyway, I can't say corny jokes, but anyway, he defeats him. His suit gets really torn up and messed up, but after defeating him, he's like, thanks for the help, boy, and then you see, Ace reunite with Bruce, and that was a sweet moment. But overall, good episode, in my opinion. Oh yeah, and Ace takes out the guy by knocking over a boat. He doesn't fall apart or die, he just gets trapped on the side of the boat saying, help! But overall, great episode, in my opinion. I said this episode was officially part of season 3, but I guess got moved to season 2. Okay. Well, I'm not going to talk about this once again, but Ace in the Hole was really good. You learn about Ace's past, that he was how him and Bruce met, that when he was a puppy, he was beaten, tortured by this guy to fight, until, one night, he's able to get away from this guy who was weaned him over the years as a puppy, and comes up against the Joker, and he tries to hurt him until Bruce shows up because he's giving flowers to his parents' grave. Well, to the movie theater where his parents were murdered at, and a long time ago. But eventually sees Ace and helps him. This guy from hurting him. Anytime Bruce deep down loves his dog, he loves Ace. He doesn't worry about. Ace is a good dog, loves his dog. But yeah. But overall, great episode in my opinion. Alright guys, well, I think 3 more favorite episodes here. Now I'm on the okay episodes. It's just a few guys. I'm almost done here. And my first okay episode is called Mind Games, where Terry has this Batman saves these people, from their car crashes because it flies and it's about to crash, and Batman, using the Batmobile saves them. This girl that lives to him for help, she's like, "Help me, can you help me?" And he's like, talking to her twice, like, "I can't talk to you." Eventually, she comes to the Batcave. Terry says, like, Tara, I forget, I think her name was that. But the young girl asks him for help. He's a psychic vision. Batman has to fight like this psychic or whatever he has to fight, because the guy's using his telekinesis spells on Batman, so he has to take him on. Batman's able to eventually find the people who does this, is able to take them out and save the girl, and she does like a mind wave on him, like, what have you been thinking, Batman, Terry, for saving her? But overall, I thought it was an alright episode in my opinion, but a little boring. I just found that interesting, weird and all that. But another okay episode was called Revenant. This is where these unexplained events started happening after these Terry's girlfriend Dana and a couple of her friends or girlfriends or whatever, they mess with an Ouija board, try to do a seance. Weird things start happening. Nelson gets attacked. Blake gets a message. They think it's a ghost, a teenager who died some time ago, but actually, in reality, it is Willie Watt. Willie Watt, who of course was the kid that controlled the Golem in season 1. He's been in prison for a long time. He's like buffed up and big now. You do find out that he's developed a new power, which is called psychic extreme abilities, which he can control with his mind. Terry proves that by throwing water in his eye, so it is you. Yep. And he eventually breaks out of prison, tries to go kill Nelson, uses his abilities on Blade, tries to, give Blade, because he's still in love with Blade, he wants to give her a kiss, till, Batman grabs him. He's going to use his weapon, but he fights Batman more. Batman's eventually able to take him out of there. I mean, I didn't like the whole thing. I don't like Ouija boards and things. I just don't like that. To me, it's witchcraft, and I don't like that kind of stuff. It's just something I don't like. That's what I didn't like about the episode mainly. I'm like, you don't need that. Why not just have Willie Watt return? Or break out of prison in the first place? Since he has these powers, why not just bring him out of prison, have him, maybe try to get his revenge or something. That would be more interesting than all this psychic stuff happening. But Willie says that he does it because he's, can't get away with it, whatever, trying to get out of jail freely. I guess that's what his plan was. But overall, just an okay episode, in my opinion. Alright, one more episode, guys, and that is Centuries of the Last Cosmos. Now, look, I love science fiction, but this science fiction I wasn't really into. It's more like these kids were into. This episode where these teenagers, fleeing who are friends with Terry, they're devoted to this game because they love the fantasy of it. And he convinces them, to get out of reality. And, he's like, kind of like the cult leader for these kids. He's like, again, yes, worship me or whatever. Do my bidding. They try to kill a guy for him who was voiced by Patton Oswalt. But Patton Oswalt will play Penguin, and if you've seen College Humor here on YouTube where they make fun of the Christian Bale Batman voice, he played Penguin in that. But also here, he plays a guy who helped design the game, who sued the guy or whatever, and, he tries to shoot at Batman first, but he found that he's a wimp. He gets kidnapped. He gets kidnapped by these guys who are using their suits to fly or whatever. Batman is eventually able to take them out by the end. Or just an alright episode, but I wasn't into this. I was science fiction and all stuff with the video game. The whole thing I just didn't find interesting. Just, bit of a boring episode in my opinion. Just cannot get into it, but not terrible. But overall, that is my favorite and okay episode, my thoughts. My favorite and okay episodes of Batman Beyond Season 2, so that's it. So yeah, this season was great. A lot of good episodes in here. But, I'm going to give my final opinion on it. Yeah, but those are all my favorite and okay episodes of Batman Beyond Season 2. But give my final thoughts on Batman Beyond Season 2. Still my favorite season, despite those 3 episodes that I'm not a fan of. I still thought it was a rare episode. Some weird stuff. Yeah, some of it is ridiculous, but it's fun. I like more action, and the stories I like a little better. And, you know, just really good stories, and they're interesting, sometimes creepy episodes as well. But great season. My favorite season is Batman Beyond Season 2. So, yeah, great season in my opinion, better than the first. But that's Batman Beyond Season 2. So tell me guys in the comments down below, what are your favorite episodes of Batman Beyond Season 2? Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of this season? I mean, well, what are your favorite episodes of Batman Beyond Season 2? I love this season, I think it's great. And let me know in the comments down below what are your favorite episodes. And next, I will be talking about we got one more season to go for Batman Beyond, that is my thoughts on favorite episodes of Batman Beyond Season 3. Now I'm thinking I'll probably start this on Thursday, since it's just 13 episodes. So I'll probably start this one on Thursday and Friday, this too. So maybe Friday night, I'll be doing a video for Batman Beyond Season 3. Yeah. Yeah, that's it right there. But yeah, Batman Beyond Season 3 right here. This will be next. So, yeah, stay tuned for that, y'all. And stay tuned, I'm going to do another video today, trailer reaction video, so stay tuned for that. So let me know about Batman Beyond Season 2, tell me your favorite episodes, and look forward to next, because next will be Batman, my thoughts on favorite episodes of Batman Beyond Season 3. Oh, I forgot to do something. Yeah. And my rating for Batman Beyond Season 2, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up for Batman Beyond Season 2. So, anyway guys, thanks for watching. Look forward to my thoughts and services of Batman Beyond Season 3. I'll see you guys when I see you. Have a good day. Stay tuned. I'm doing the next video coming up next, trailer reaction video for Black Adam trailer too. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. See you soon.